bring the other light. Okay, you guys, I don't have my other light on. I'm going to have to bring it forward. Or should I? Yeah, I think I need. No, I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to. Oh, but I need to. Oh, is it? It just looks so dark. I may. Let me just. Let's press on. Sister Deborah already running late. Shalom, shalom, and shalom, Sister Deborah. Coming again with a message this evening. And I said yesterday that I would cover the tears in which Yah is going to deal with in the days to come. It's something going on with the tears that threw me totally off because it was given to me during the Sabbath. And I was confused by it because I'm like, what's the deal with the tears? What is this with the tears? And I guess that's also fall under that category. And when he told me about 20 something years that your tears are like icicles, you see, he wasn't moved by the tears. And now Sister Deborah ended up just going into that lesson. And I call it a lesson because during my Sabbath, I was writing down different topics that the Spirit would give me. And I said, I'm going to clam on top of it. And what I meant by that is I was going to do my research and kind of wait for the Holy Spirit to give me really the full details of what is actually surrounding the topics in which he has given me. And yesterday was a topic the Holy Spirit gave me. So he gave me tears as well during the Sabbath. So I decided to cover tears, Tears, tears. And that's something that many people shed, tears. And tears is the same in Hebrew as weeping, and weeping is the same as tears. Tears is the same as weeping, and weeping is the same as tears. So my issue was, what is this deal with the tears in which you're going to deal with wiping away tears? Is it really like tears, Father? Sister Deborah, wants to know, I want to know. And then see, sometimes you go into a situation where you really desiring to know something, and you find out you end up knowing more than what you was bargaining. You really didn't want to know it all, but you end up finding out more, and it caused me to go in a weeping, a crying stage, just to know that's the whole overall of him wiping away our tears. And it is an appointed time. Let me not say time. It is appointed to him to do just that. And it's not going to be what you think. And we're going to go over it. And in the process of going over it, I just wonder if any of you are going to be able to detach to the whole idea of the Creator wiping away tears. What was all that about? What is that really detailed? What is that detailing? What is it really saying? What is it really about? Wiping away thy tears. So we're going to go into it and get some understanding, and then you're going to see me flip over and give you what it was really all about. See, I didn't think I was going to get it, so I began to weep. I began to cry because I'm like saying, well, wait a minute. I hear you saying this. I understand that it is going to be something you're going to do, but it don't make any sense. But then when he gave me the overall, the word to continue, really, to me, I called it a full revelation of it. It was like, okay, now it makes sense, but it didn't wipe away the sadness. the tears that I had and the sadness that I had regarding. I want to say this too. I think it's a really sad thing, and it's a really sad thing to be in the world, but not of it, but have the ability to know what the world is consist of, not because you are swinging around with the world or playing in the world. It's because the Holy Spirit that said He would teach you all things. And I believe He's about what He say, and He says what He's about, and He's keeping what He said He will do, and that was to teach us all things. And I think in the process of that, it comes with even sadness to know the things in which He allowed one to comprehend. It comes with a price. A lot of people think all this stuff is fun and games. Oh, there's a price to pay. Oh yes, there's a price. And what I am confused about is, how is it individuals believe, and not only do they believe, they might have faith, but yet only it's limited to what allowed them in. You see what I'm saying? And I'm confused by that. And that'll maybe be something else that the Spirit would give unto Sister Deborah, because that's something's heavy on me. Now, I have, since I've been on YouTube, there's two individuals, 100%, that I know of, that even though they're not Hebrew Israelites and they're the opposite race, they still represent the Hebrew Israelites. They still represent these individuals that I'm speaking of, that He's going to wipe away tears. Okay? The reason why I said that, since I've been on YouTube, is only two. Both of them, one is the male is my age. The woman is way older than I am. She should be going up into her 90s, but she has been in it, she said, since she was in high school. So that's why I know that the Most High do have others in other nations knowing the truth, because they're on YouTube and they go everywhere, all over the place, especially the woman, speaking on the people of Yah. The people of Yah is not heaven nor hell, meaning they don't check you in, nor do they check you out. But what bothers me, how do a people know how a people must feel if they can't bring themselves to the understanding of a situation a people are in? And it's very confusing to me. You can't come to the realm of even understanding where a people realm, or the realm in which they are in. You can't even come to the understanding of that realm. But these two individuals, I've been on here, it's past 8 years now, but these people was there when I first got on. They've been on there, and they still said the same thing. So they didn't change at all. So to me, these are what I call truly the strangers. These are those who have been. You can't be where they are at and not be grafted in. I'm telling y'all, you cannot be where they are at and not be grafted in. Grafted in, what a lot of people get confused when you say grafted in, they feel that they have to be like you. They have to act like you. No, you don't have to act like the Hebrew Israelites. You don't have to act like Judah. All you have to do is let your spirit accept what the Creator created about this nation of people. But when the outer man can't accept it, the inner man won't accept it. Because the inner man don't accept it. So the outer man has a hard time dealing with it or accepting it, because their inner man does not accept it. But these two individuals, like I said, they was here before I even got on YouTube, before I even heard anything as far as Hebrew Israelites. Okay. No, I heard a lot about the Hebrew Israelites before I heard a lot about these different groups and cults. You know, they had been on here already. But what I try to understand, what is it that individuals can't seem to I guess I would say it's not meant, but I can't say it because I've already ran up on those two for sure, for sure, for sure, for sure, for sure. Okay, and nobody, and I mean the woman, she been traveling all over the United States. She has a degree, and she travels. She go to conventions. She holds groups meetings, and she do these here trial things on her nations. She don't go to Hebrew Israelites or Judah. She go to her own people. Same thing with David. He don't go to Hebrew Israelites or the tribe of Judah. He go to his own nation. He first started with his own family. And I think he's my age. He first started with his own family. And if 1 minute they turned away from it, they denied him, but now he's back with his family. His family is back in the fold, and now they understand. You see what I'm saying? These people been on here before I was on here. And these are European. These are white people who's here in the United States of America. And the reason why I say that is because even this topic about the tears, it's going to also show you that this is something that the Father has ordered. And in it, if one don't grip the whole idea of what is being said today, I don't know, and I can't say where y'all is in nobody's living, and in no one's living here on the earth right now. I don't have a hell nor a hell to put no one in, but in the process of me weeping and crying, weeping and crying is the same thing. Over this situation, I found myself feeling that I felt that it's unjust. I don't think the unjust for the world. I'm not talking about the unjust that the world builds up on. I just felt that it was unjust in the spirit realm. It was unjust in the spirit realm. And that's when he brought me back the two I'm talking about. That's what made him bring to my remembrance the two that I have spoke about. You know, knowing that this is the route, they too has to be grafted in 100%, because they're not just having a platform and just saying anything or trying to get into Israel. They're not trying to mingle around Israel. They're not trying to mingle around Judah. They just doing what righteous does, and it starts from within. And that's why I say people who don't have that, they're never going to reach that level because it's over. You see what I'm saying? And that's kind of sad, real sad. And after I learned this here, which I'm going to go over, and it's and the topic again is the tears. It's regarding Yah shall wipe away the tears, and he will, and he shall wipe away the tears. Okay, so I want to first and foremost start in Psalms chapter 30. In Psalms chapter 30 and verse 5. Now, what we're going to talk about is tears. You know, those tears that people cry, and tears in Hebrew means weeping. And weeping means tears. So we're not going to escape when we use both words. We're talking about the same situation. So another thing that I thought was very, very, very strange is, how is it that David in Psalms is always able to nail this stuff? Wait a minute, David, what's going on? David, he's always seemed like, I can understand. You know what? You know, in Revelation, where it talks about how David in Mount Zion, how David is going to appear, I can see why. Because David is not like we think David is. You see what I'm saying? It's more to him than meets the understanding of flesh, because he talks too much about everything that the Ruach has taught me as a young person, and I'm trying to understand why is it people are not getting it like I'm getting it from David. It's a strange thing for me. So let's start with Psalms 30. In the book of Psalms, chapter 30 and verse 5. For his anger endure but a moment. I like that because it shows me that the Creator don't hang on to anger like we do. So that separate him totally from this idea that he's likened to a man, or he's, he get angry. You know how he was dealing with Moses during that time, and Moses kept telling him that you need to repent, or your anger and your wrath. One thing about him is he's not one that holds on to things, y'all. But something went on to where he wasn't there to wipe away the tears for a long time. So he pulls up in Revelation letting you know, I'm going to wipe away all your tears. So it's almost like he had a big role in not wiping away your tears. It was something about your tears you had to shed. It was something about your tears you had to weep. You had to weep. It was something about the Most High Yah that needed you to weep, that needed you to shed tears. Because he pulled up in Revelation and started to talk about how he's going to take away our tears. I'm going to wipe away your tears. And in it, it's just so, let's get to it. So in Psalms chapter 30 and verse 5, for his anger endureth but a moment. That's a blessing. That should be a blessing to each and every one of us that has the Holy Spirit in us. Okay? Letting us know that the Most High anger he don't use it infinity or continue. It's only a moment. Okay? That means he can be disappointed in you for only a moment. Okay? And after that, it's gone. So that's how we should be feeling. Someone do something to us, we shouldn't be holding on to the anger and all the other things that come with that anger. Because if he's the type that's saying that anger only endure for a moment, me letting you know I'm not holding on to it like y'all think. Y'all, I'm not the one. I don't hold on to it. So we that are here on the earth, we will hold on to it for what? 2, 3, 4, 5 years, 10, 20, 30. So that shows you we're in a different realm. We're in the flesh. Because he said his anger endure only but a moment. It says here, in his favor is life. Now I want you to understand, life is the breath. Life is eternal, but it's a breath. His breath that he holds and he owns is eternal. It's no end to the breath. When we pass away, the breath go back to the Father because it doesn't ever cease. It goes back to its owner. But what it's saying is telling you in his favor, and favor mean in Hebrew, grace. In his grace, okay, is the breath. In his grace is the breath. Now watch this. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. In the morning. So right there, he's also putting night in one area of the tears, but letting you know in the morning that night gonna have to cease. Those tears gonna have to cease. And he said what? Weeping may endure for a night, but joy, but joy, but joy cometh in the morning. So here you see David telling us about this creator. He's telling us how he really rumbles. The weeping is tears, you guys. Your tears is going to shed. Only endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. And I really like that, because throughout my whole living, I always think of if they could just wait until the morning. I used to feel that if people would just wait until the morning, they would see things different. They would feel things different. They would think things different. And the reason why I come up with that is suicide. I always felt in the form in suicide, if you just would, I know, because the night, a lot of y'all don't understand this. 99.9 of suicide is at night. I know y'all don't know nothing about that, but it is. Darkness seemed to bring upon, the night seemed to bring upon some really hard times in people's living. It really does. Night would have you thinking all kind of crazy things, making you feel you're in your lowest of the low. Soon as that night hit and that sun is down, there go that night creeping in, bringing upon sorrow and heartache and things that have gone on in your life and things that is taking place in your life. But I say to you all, weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. And I used to feel that way about people who commit suicide. I said, if you just would have just waited till the morning, when the sun rise, when the light spring up, you would have had a different feeling about taking. You might end up going back into that night hour feeling the same way. But I'm going to tell y'all, that morning, when it arrived and that light it spring up, let me tell you, you have a different way of seeing things from the night that you went to bed or that night that you were dealing with issues. When you wake up in that morning, it's just a total different feel. A total different feel. And you even would think back and say, boy, that was a heavy night. I thought about all kind of crazy things. You see, I thought about what people had done to me, what people had took from me, what people have said to me, and how people have lied on me, how people have deceived me. You know, you think of all of that in the night. So I say unto any and everybody at the sound of my voice, just wait until the morning, because that's when the joy will step in. But here he's saying something totally different. David is sending a sign to the servant of the Most High Yah, and that's me, to know that Deborah, weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. And what David is speaking of, he's speaking to the Israel and Judah. That weeping, don't think y'all don't know about it. It is required of you to shed tears and weep. Yah is looking forward to you weeping and crying. You see? Because the whole idea of the situation of people are in is a situation the Father put you in. He didn't put you in it for two things: for you to never come to any knowledge of why you were there, nor anyway you're going to be so happy and so cheerful and so feeling good. No, he put you there so there'll be weeping and tears shed, because he already sealed it in Revelation to reverse it. And in it, you're gonna learn. He said, I'm gonna wipe away all your tears. And I'm like saying, hold up, hold up, hold up. What's the deal with this tears? That's why I was saying to him during Sabbath, what's the deal with this tears you're gonna wipe away? What is in this tear? What is going on? And he brought the full revelation to me today. And it felt good because I was in a weeping situation, a saddened situation. Okay, so here in Psalms chapter 30, verse 5, for anger endure for a moment. His anger, David is telling you, the Father. Why? When David, who you think you are? When Deborah, I dealt with him. Both sides, flesh and spirit. And let me tell you, his anger, Deborah, endure only but a moment. But Deborah, in his favor, mean in his grace, breath. He gave you grace through that breath. Weeping may endure for a night, Deborah, but joy, Deborah, you got to think now, Deborah, that joy. And that's why he was keep on saying it to me, because he wanted me to understand what's coming in the morning. And this is why Yah said, I'm going to wipe away your tears. That's what's coming. You see? Because he knew that the weeping was necessary. He knew that the tears to be shed was necessary. That's what he wanted. That's what he needed. But then I said to the Father something really crazy. I said, but if you took 100% of Israel, the whole house of Israel, including Judah and everybody, you only got a few percent, you only got something like 10 to 8 to 6% out of the 100. They still don't know. They still don't know. They don't have no idea of why they're shedding tears. They have no idea of why they're weeping. All they feel is that this country and this world and the people in this country has wronged them on every side. This is the reason why they don't know who they are. You see? They don't know who they are because there's many that knew who they were, decided to get into these camps and decided to get into these cults and decided to get into these Hebrew Israelites movements instead of getting on the highways and byways to minister to your people. You all decided to get into all these different groups to where you can only have your own group. Like Dowd, he even went to his little group and went out in the woods. That ain't what you're supposed to do when you come to the knowledge of who you are. You should have went on the highway and byway. You should have took, instead of having them men build y'all a city, you should have went on the highway and byway. Oh no, y'all think y'all gonna keep yourself. And y'all gonna be the first to go. And they have no idea. So here, it says here, you have to understand how he separated the night with the tears. But then he talks about how joy cometh in the morning. Yah is coming in the morning. It means where he's going to wipe away his people's tears. He needed them to shed and weep. But in the process of it, they should have realized after 400 and something years, this is why I'm weeping. This is why I'm shedding tears. So even the information that I'm putting out here now, 99.9 won't be able to grip because they too far somewhere else during this midnight hour. But so what happened? The tears of tribulation poured in. The weeping of tribulation is going to put in. You see what I'm saying? And those tears and those weeping is something they're going to endure. See, a lot of y'all don't understand. Israel and Judah they haven't come to the knowledge that they are a people that was chosen by the right hand, which is the power of Yah. They have no idea. They have no idea, none whatsoever. So something is going to pull them into more weeping and tear and crying to where they're going to have to bring them cries to reach to heaven. You see? because you're going to see why the tears were necessary. You're going to see why the weeping was necessary, because it was the will of the Father. So then I go to Isaiah. I go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 25 and verse 8. In the book of Isaiah, chapter 25 and verse 8, he will swallow up death in victory. He will swallow up death in victory. I think death is the last, I believe, isn't it said the last, it's the last enemy that y'all defeat? I think death is. And it says here in Isaiah 25 and 8, he will swallow up death in victory. And Yah will wipe away tears from off all faces. From off all faces. And the rebuke of his people shall be taken away from off all the earth. For Yah has spoken it. That's powerful for a book of instructions and study guide to say he has spoken it. That's a sign to me that, hey, stand firm on that. Okay, but notice it says he's going to swallow up death. So somewhere, watch this here, y'all. Pay attention to this. Somewhere, death has a hold on us. Mm-hmm. Death still fears us. I mean, death got us fearful. You see? Death actually have us fearful. We are afraid of death more than we are of Yah. Okay? So he said, and I will swallow up death in victory. Then Yah will wipe away. See? He's showing you how he's going to take death and swallow it up, which it said in Revelation. Okay? And Yah will wipe away the tears from off all faces. You see? Because the tears are crying out of fear of death. So death itself plays a giant role in a people. A giant role. You know, have you heard that said everybody want to go to heaven, but nobody want to die? You see? So when you're looking at death, it's going to be swallowed up in victory. Because believe it or not, even though people say, oh, I'm not afraid of dying, I don't care, as long as I get my heart right with Yah, or as long as I have the Holy Spirit, as long as I'm right. But you know what? Death is a all right. I'm back, and I am back. Okay. I don't know if everyone is back, but if anyone in the live can give me a thumbs up to just let me know that we're back. Okay. And I can take it from here. A thumbs up to let me know if we are back online. Wait for that thumbs up, and I would get back into this here message. If I can get a thumb up to just let me know that we're connected. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. So back into this here, I had to explain to you all, the power went out. This is like the fourth time in 7 days. Now, what I understand is that they're preparing to get it to be normal, where your power goes off and on. So when it do go, you'll think that, hey, it's just one of those days, or it's like it's been before. So Don't think that this, and it's not just in this state, okay? I believe it's happening all over the United States of America, but because the country is a snake, and I know y'all don't want to accept that because you're the snake egg in it. When you don't accept it, you don't know it because you are a snake in a snake land, okay? And you won't accept the fact that the things that's going to be put forward and the reason why tribulation going to be so hard on everybody is because everybody in this country is already in full denial of everything that's taking place. That's why Donald Trump, and I can't even say Donald Trump, but everybody that's in the elites that rule this country, the all-seeing eye, all of them, that's why they do the things that they do, because the country has been so freely embracing what they're doing. And you all might think it's a bad thing, but it is. It's the worst of the worst. But a country, meaning a people in this country, is okay with it. They are content. They don't have no problems with these things that the wicked is doing. You know, they have embraced it. And like the Father say, when you don't disagree with it, you agree with it. You see, it ain't like you're supposed to go out and try to fight it and try to do anything about it. But there should be an energy in this country that says, wait a minute, we can't be okay in all this wicked y'all bringing upon us, and how y'all raising our mortgages and our car note and our insurance and our banks, and you're getting all this stuff ready for evil. But what happened? You don't hear nothing. That shows you that the country is darker than you're willing to admit. I'm just going to say that. People don't know that. They don't understand. No, I ain't going to say they don't know it. They do know it. The country is darker than you all are willing to say that it is. And when you're not able to say it, it's because you are a part of what is dark. You are the snake's eggs. So you are not going to see anything that's actually going on. That's why tribulation has to pull up. Perilous times got to pull up. All these earthquakes in diverse places and pestilence and famine, all that stuff got to pull up. That's why all that's coming in, y'all. That's why it's all going to show up and show out right in front of your face. And guess what? You still going to say it ain't nothing going on. You're still going to be supporting the elites up to the highest degree. No matter what the tribulation bring you, you're still going to be on the dark side, supporting the dark side. Because Sister Deborah, being a prophetess in the wilderness, I already see the dark side taking place. And if I'm seeing it and I'm asking the kingdom, well, okay, the kingdom is the Most High, y'all. Father, what is going on? Why is this here and people ignore? Let them alone, Deborah. This is how it's going according to that will, you know, my will in the kingdom that rules all things. It's still rumbling my will. Because when you don't see people embracing the things that's actually happening and saying, wait a minute, we ain't going to put up with that. Roll your sleeves up and lace your boots up and show the country, those that are preparing to do these things. No, instead we on their side. You see? So that's why the country is very deserving of what the kingdom is going to bring down on it. 100%. And everybody in it. Because from what I can see, Father, everybody's agreeing. Because when you're not disagreeing, you're agreeing. And that's the feel, the energy here in this country. People feel that this stuff is okay. I'm going to tell you what you don't understand. Only thing they dislike is they having a hard time. Outside of that, they don't see nothing wrong with what they're doing. See, what I mean, if it's not affecting them, their household, their pocket, you know, their way of living, oh, we good. We don't have no problems. And that's most of a lot of people in this country, because they haven't felt the impact of tribulation pulling on in. They haven't felt it. But, oh, baby, let me tell you, it's on the scene. It's on the scene. So in Isaiah chapter 25 and verse 8, it says he would swallow up death in victory, and Yah will wipe away the tears from all faces. and the rebuke of his people shall be taken away from off all the earth, for Yah has spoken it. And that's in Isaiah. So Isaiah knows that the time of Yah's wiping away the tears of his people is set in stone. It's set in stone. Do you think that the Hebrew Israelites, cults and movement and all that old mess they got going on, you think they preaching and teaching it? No, because they have no idea of it. They want to teach you the things that they can continue to use as a iron claw. They want to be able to claw you to death in their interpretation, in their precept, their line, their little here. They want to be able to claw you to death with the commandments and with the law. But let me explain something. When the commandment and law is living in you, who can tell you how to walk therein? If greater is he which is all law in you, and greater is he that is the command, is in you, who on the outside can tell you anything? That's the advantage of people who have the Holy Spirit. He didn't tell you to have everybody teaching you and telling you. When you got the greatest teacher of all from the heavens to the bottom of the bottomless pit in you. So who want to tell you something on the outside of you? Meaning there's things in the flesh you can learn. That's the flesh. But when your spirit is holding the teacher of your flesh and your spirit, you got to double think things when you're dealing with people. You just can't just take what people are saying and take it and make it what it is. No, because something greater in you that overrides everything on the outside of you. Okay, let's get into this. So what I see, he said he's going to wipe away the tears. Not only that, he's going to rebuke. What he means is correct some things. So here where he's talking about, and I correct, he's going to correct his people, shall he taken away from all, he's going to correct some things. Rebuke, but that's what he's going to do. He's going to correct some things. Okay? So that's showing you that this creator got something very powerful in mind for this earth. No, what did it? Yeah, for this earth. That think that it's going to escape the ways of it when it come down to a people. And what a lot of people don't understand, even those that are grafted in, is also considered the people. But guess what? Not if their heart is not grafted in as far as the spirit. And the spirit of God is not going to graft strangers in so separate in the way that they feel and think from the true branches. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I think people don't understand. They really believe that y'all gonna work everything out 100%, that they can stay on the left side, and when it's time to come in, they can pull up on the right. No, baby. He said he measures a man's heart, and your heart is your mind. He already got that. And he said, and he measured it by spirits. Seeing how many dark spirits is riding in your mind to make you think that you are going to be connected to what I call my people. Now, I want y'all to understand, the well as the Gentile, as well as the whole house of Israel, in Yah, those that are grafted in with the whole house of Israel is called his people. They are grafted into they from the root on up. Okay? But you're going to know that they are not you as you, but those that are the servants of the Most High Yah that's carrying the Ruach within them. You know who you're dealing with. Okay? He's not going to allow everybody to be grafted in and can't even comprehend what's actually going on. Because let me tell you what I heard. In the background of why I'm talking to y'all, this is what it's saying. Because, Deborah, and only because there's going to be a day when the heathens shall know. And that day is when I'm going to reveal. They're going to see who my people was and is. So he even got a day planned to show them who his people are. And in that is the grafted in. You see? So what is it he's going to reveal to show who his people are to those who are not grafted in? Y'all don't get it. Y'all do not get it. You cannot be grafted in if you're the one that he's going to show in the end days who his people is and was from the beginning. Oh no, you have to be already grafted in, knowing that already. Oh, Deborah, you should have talked about that. You on a whole different topic. Ooh, we Father, now see, you should have gave me that during the Sabbath. Because if you really think about that, all through a study 2 or 3 years ago, I was saying to the Father, what's this thing about and the heathen's going to know, and the heathen's going to know, and the heathen's going to know. He got an appointed day when he going to deal with the heathens. And 1 and 2 and 3 of those appointed days is going to be a day where they're going to know that we were always his people. Now, those that he's saying they're going to know, guess what? It's not just going to be Israel and Judah. It's going to be strangers added in there. But the strangers going to already know. You see? Not the strangers going to already know. See, the stranger's mindset is Yah has given them faith and belief to believe the truth and have faith that he branded them with, and then gave them the belief, and then they got truth. So there can't be a denial. There can't be a person walking on this earth in full denial of who the people they are grafted into. It won't and it cannot make sense. It cannot make sense. Because in it, he's constantly destroying the heathens and talking about how they're going to know. They're going to know. They're going to know. And I'm like saying, why is you so hooked up on them knowing? Who cares about who they are? Because that's a part of why he allowed Israel and Judah to be at the standpoint of where they at, where he didn't destroy them. Because he wants them to know he took the worst of the worst and made them about him. And watch what I do to them. And the heathen shall know. But if you got those that are grafted in, they are already knowing. They ain't waiting like the heathens to know nothing, because the heathens going to be destroyed in the midst of them even finding out who we are. In a way, they know who we are. When I say they know, the highest darkness, the elites and all those that's in power running this country, this world, they already know. But the people might not. But there are those who are grafted in. They're not grafted in they grafted in by belief and faith. But what is it that they believe? They believe that Yeshua HaMashiach came as a mission of the Father to complete and redeem. They understand that. But they have to know, who are you grafted in with? You see what I'm saying? You can know that you're grafted in through Yeshua HaMashiach. But you're grafted in with a people that seem like you should know who they are, in the sense of who Yah has chosen them to him. To me, you would think it would be like me being grafted into something, and I don't even know nobody around me or what they gone through or what they went through and what they feeling, or even if I'm grafted into them. Now, y'all got to understand, the grafted in is spiritual, y'all. So if you can't wrap it around and say, well, they don't even know who they are, so why should I know who they are, have to know who you are? It's because you're looking at them as the flesh. They are out there in the flesh. Y'all know that there's 90-something% that's out there that is of the flesh, not is of the flesh, that lives by the flesh, not knowing that they are the people. Even them going to be brought back to where they need to be if they have the spiritual seed. So it's all messed up. And it's messed up because the way everybody wants to continue to teach it and preach it and instill it and make people think that it is. So it's just going to be all over the place. Like where we at today, no one is caught up in anything. They are caught up in politics. They are caught up in all this darkness information that's being spread abroad the world. They are caught up in chaos and murdering and killing and pedophile. Y'all wouldn't even believe the hearts that's dedicated to that area. So let me get back into what I was going over. So what happened to me, I went into Revelation because I wanted to understand, Father, Revelation is kind of summing things to the end. So I'm like saying, okay, here go Revelation. You know, this is the last instructions and directions that they have. So to go by in their study guide. And he's saying, you know, okay, let's go. And I'm like, wait a minute, we finna go into Revelation now. Oh, come on, let's rumble. So I go into Revelation chapter 7 and verse 17. And we're talking about how Yah is planning on wiping the tears out of our eyes, off our faces. Now we read in Psalms 30 and verse 5. He said, weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. Weeping mean tears. Tears mean weeping. Then I pull up in Isaiah 25 and verse 8, and it says, and Yah will wipe away the tears from off all faces. Okay, so I'm like saying, okay, what's the deal with these tears? I'm confused. What's with these? What's the deal with these tears? So I go into Revelation and chapter 7. When I get into Revelation chapter 7 and verse 17, Revelation chapter 7 and verse 17, and it reads, for the Lamb which is in the midst of the throne shall feed them and shall lead them into living fountains of water. Let's go over that again. In Revelation chapter 7, verse 17, for the Lamb which is in the midst of the throne shall feed them, shall lead them into living fountains of water. Now watch this here. And Yah, there go the Father. Now I'm like saying, wait a minute, hold up. Wait a minute, Father, Yah. Hold up. Now here come the Father stepping in. Here come the Father. Y'all don't get it. Here come the Father. The Father stepping in, and Yah shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. Now, I want y'all to understand, and I know y'all don't, and I'm good with that. Because it was too hard. It wasn't hard for me to grip it and understand it. It was just sad that he even got appointed will to wipe away the tears out of the eyes of a people. What's the deal with these tears? What is Paul saying about the tears that he's going to wipe away? And it only endured for a moment. What is it in Isaiah 25 and verse 8? He will wipe away all the tears. Come on now. What's with these tears, Father? What is the deal with the tears? So here in Revelation, it talks about, for the Lamb which is in, Revelation chapter 7, verse 17, for the Lamb which is in the midst of the throne shall feed them shall lead them into living fountains of water. And now here go the Father. He finna pull up. And Yah shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. These tears were meant. Yah did not want us to think that we were to get over here and act as if it's Yankee Doodle. It was meant for us to weep while we are here, to shed tears. And guess what? Some said something in the back of me. Some said something. The cries didn't go up to the kingdom like it did in Genesis with Pharaoh. You remember before y'all stepped down to control the whole environment and bring that, y'all, let me tell you, that could be also why this message is so important today. Because what it's saying to me in the back of me is this, Deborah. When I came to deliver the house of Israel, it's because I heard one thing. I heard their cry. Woo, Father, yeah. You mean all these years I've been thinking that? Because I keep trying to instill in y'all what's wrong with a people that they don't understand why they were there and what's going on, where they at. No cries have reached the kingdom from Babylon. Back in Egypt, when they had them, Israel in bondage, Pharaoh had them in bondage, the only way the kingdom came down, the whole host of the kingdom came down, is when he heard their cry. And ain't now one of you can say nothing to me. Because for that same reason, I have put that before the Most High so many times. There's no cry. There's no cry out of Babylon. There's no cry. None whatsoever. None whatsoever. That cry that they had back during Pharaoh, what did it happen? It reached the heaven. To where what? Heaven came down. That's who the Father is. With the whole host, he come down. He brought the plagues upon Pharaoh. All because he heard the cry of his people. So in me, don't pay me no attention, y'all. I would say to the Father, how can they cry out to one they do not know? Because give or take, Father, since I've been on this devil platform, give or take from 8% and less might know. But what about the other ones that know they can cry out because of the things that's actually happening to them right here and now? They crying out to each other. They crying out for all the wrong things. When somebody go kill up his family and then he get killed by the cops, or the cops killed him, but they ain't looking at he killed up his wife and all 6 of his kids. They looking at the fact that he killed the father. They killed his children. This is the mindset. So a people, oh, Father, that's just too deep. People, listen to this. Revelation is actually telling you that Yah is going to overstep the boundaries in when he get his to where they at. Because their tears going to have to rain all the way to the kingdom. Woo! No, I didn't go there, Father. Did I go there all the way? Yes, I did. It ain't going to rain like it did in, oh, Father, did I go there? Yes, you did. I went all the way and y'all missed it. It went straight over y'all head. Because the cry that they was crying in Pharaoh when they was in bondage, it reached the kingdom. And the kingdom came down. Go back and do your study. And let the Ruach break that thing down in you. So where we're at now, the Father is showing me something. I'm going to show y'all. It's going to blow your mind. Because right here in Revelation, it's telling you they're in the kingdom. For the Lamb which is in the midst of the throne shall feed them, shall lead them, shall them into a living fountain of water. And Yah, then Deborah, woo, Deborah, no, you didn't go there. Oh, yes. And then shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. Then, so we're going to have to handle this tribulation. Yes, you are, baby. The perilous times too. Yes, you are. You're already in it. Me and heart shall fail. All right, that's what they need. So we're sitting around trying to make something that cannot be made to be anything outside of what the will and Yah has orchestrated. He knows how it's going to go. Now, I stepped into Revelation chapter 21. And when I get into Revelation chapter 21 and verse 4, and Yah shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death. See, there go death. Death is really something that causes the people to weep and cry. Is not it? I told y'all. Even though it's a reverse, because he said when you're born you cry, when you're born you cry, and when you die you rejoice. But the reverse, look at it in Revelation 21 and verse 4. And Yah shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death. I noticed death was pulling up another verse with tears. So it connects it. Neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things have passed away. So are our tears going to be wiped away in the kingdom? That's the way it's speaking. Let's continue. So he had to take me to a different level, because right there, I was getting too emotional, because he was showing me that even in Revelation, it talked about how he's going to wipe away the tears, but it was more so in the kingdom. Okay, so here we go. Now we're going to pull up in Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 1 and 2. So I returned and considered all the oppression. Woo, there we go. All the oppression that was done under the sun. Now, why is it Solomon is considering the oppression that's done where? Under the sun. What do you mean, Deborah? When he say there's nothing new under the sun, that means the things that's under the sun will and shall repeat itself. Okay, so he's speaking of us, okay, right here today, as he was speaking yesterday, saying everything under the sun, okay, under the sun. Okay, so you have to consider when he says nothing new under the sun, letting you know a lot of things is just going to constantly repeat itself. So this is what we're doing. We're repeating something that already has taken place, and Solomon giving us the whole overall. And in Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and verse 1 and 2. So I returned and considered all the oppression that are done under the sun. Now, how could he say that? Because everything repeats itself. But he was considering all of it. Now watch this here. And behold, that means Deborah, look, the tears of such as were oppressed. Oh, and they had no comfort. And on that side of their oppressors, there was power, but they had no comfort. So the reason why the kingdom is going to wipe away the tears is because those 400 years and some was for us to have tears and weeping for the ways and the action of where we're at, always till we enter into that kingdom where he's going to wipe away all of that. And in my mind, I'm confused, because I'm like saying that's going to be the kingdom, that's going to be the spirit. So this could even, the tears could even be as deep as our spirit man suffering it. Let me tell you why. I tried to teach you all the best that I know how from what I felt in me teaching me. One thing I have informed you all was 400 and some, let's say 404 years he gave us. He gave us to look into the people that we were, that got us where we are. Even if we had to repent for our forefathers to come closer to light, to understand this thing, we still today reject the whole idea, because 92% don't even know the whole plan. They so busy honoring and bowing down and worshiping the Europeans' ways, the white person, men and women ways on this earth, than to seek Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob's Yah. 404 years, and even the Hebrew Israelites call themselves the true Jews, and we the people still don't know that 400 and some years the Most High gave us. And in them 400 and something years, we're still weeping and crying. We are full of tears from what the oppressor continued to do unto us. And that brought tears to me, because I'm like saying, Father, but you got individuals coming in as the strangers grafted in. He said, no, he don't. No, he don't. So I was so grateful of that, because to know that, because I'm like saying, how dare they can get grafted in, and we're suffering even going in, and they just getting grafted in. Yes, the kingdom have self, faith, and belief, but you best believe that belief in Yeshua HaMashiach, Yeshua himself was you and I. Jacob was you and I. Yeshua was you and I. Judah. So if they can't accept, you can't accept Yeshua HaMashiach without accepting Judah, who Yeshua come out of. So he just trying to get me to understand, ain't no fairness gonna rumble nowhere in no kingdom with him. So they can come in through the back door, the back window, the side windows, the basement window. They can come even crawling through the crawl space. And until they come through that door, no matter what they say they are, who they are, and what they stand for, be careful. Because it's the same grafted in. You can't be grafted in with the belief and the faith of Yeshua HaMashiach, because Yeshua came through Judah. And before you know Yeshua, and if you come to understand Yeshua HaMashiach, now you got to go back to Yeshua and understand where he comes from. You get what I'm saying? So that the grafted in won't be unjust. I don't have to know nothing as long as I know Yeshua HaMashiach, who came and he died. That's my belief. No, you can't. Because Yeshua came through a people. HaMashiach came through the spirit. So you're going to have to route that thing. And if there's any pin needle of doubt, you don't have that faith nor belief like you think you do. Because that belief is still fall under righteous. And righteous is you can't go through the Son, which is Judah. Christ is HaMashiach. So according to know the Son of Man, you have to know as well Judah, in which he came through. It's deep, y'all, but it ain't as deep as deep. It's plain. And what it does, it measures a person's heart and really who they are in Yah. That's going back to what I was teaching earlier about how the spirit of discerning. That is so necessary, you see. So that I needed to bring that. So when he went on to telling me in Ecclesiastes, and I hear Solomon actually telling you right here, he says in Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 1 through 2, it says, so I return and consider all the oppression. Now he's sitting down telling you he considered it. And that means he sat back and measured this thing based on the Holy Spirit teaching him that all done under the sun, that oppression is done under the sun, and behold the tears of such as were oppressed. The tears. See, that's what the tears were in Revelation. Those are the tears he's gonna wipe away. See, and that's why I say it's impossible to slide and slide on in as grafted without understanding none of this. You see, it's impossible because you have to have a belief, not a half-cocked belief. Oh, I'm getting in because I believe in Yeshua HaMashiach. How can you believe in Yeshua when you don't believe, you don't know nothing about where he come from? He came from Jacob down to Judah, and that's how he become Yeshua. So you're going to believe in the just Yeshua HaMashiach without understanding his route in which he came, that you may believe in him. See? And it's a beautiful thing because he's talking to me in the back. That's a message to the whole world. You got to come through him. That means you got to come through Judah. You can't just go anywhere you wanna. Heaven's then designed it. So anything that Yeshua HaMashiach said regarding believing on him, and the way is through him, you got to go through Judah. You can't come no other way. You can't. And it makes a lot of spiritual sense because everyone is coming every way, but they bypassing Judah. Because they saying we don't have to deal with Judah. We don't have to live with Judah. We don't have to accept Judah. No, he tell you to accept him. But according for you to accept the son that came from him, you got to have some acceptance. Does that make sense? You see what I'm saying? So it'll shoot down every theory that think that they can come and bypass what he said. He said you got to come through me to get to the Father. Oh, no, we don't. We can come to Christ. But Yeshua is in Christ. So how are you going to just come any old way through the door? Yeshua's way through the door was dying for your sin. So you're going to overlook that and go to Christ, the resurrection. Oh, no, y'all better shut that mess down. I mean, shut that mess down right here and now. Because people didn't talk this thing totally out of the order. So that could be why he kept telling them, if you're coming, you got to come through me to get to the Father. And the Father would do it if you, through me, he would do it for you. That also shows you how important it is to understand Judah. It's important. You don't have to become Judah. You don't have to hang out with Judah. But to understand the Son of Man that came to die for your sin, if you really want to say that you believe Yeshua HaMashiach, but you don't want to believe that Yeshua is Judah. You gonna cut that part out. Then now you can stick with Christ. And then Christ can also bump on you and say, well, we came as one for the Father. You can't escape it. So there's something very powerful in what I'm saying. I know y'all don't get it, but I'm just listening to the voice in the back of me talking to my spirit. Because I never would have thought of that, but just to think about how he kept instilling on you coming through me and my Father. He's letting you know I died for the sins. The sins had to be paid for before the resurrection. And who was I to die? Judah! Judah! He died as a flesh of a man. So he was Judah that died on the cross for the sins of the world, still had to come through Judah. And you want to bypass and think you can escape? And it's something in there talking about that too, to the grafted ones, letting them know you ain't connected to the root. Because see, y'all, if you really think of it like that, you'll realize how lost your people really are. And the world itself, not just United States, and the world itself. So what it takes you back to is what y'all said at the beginning. Narrow is that gate, Deborah, and very few shall, Deborah, shall. Very few, Deborah, I said to you, very few shall find it. He means what he said, and he said what he meant. And I'm a living witness as a servant of the Most High Yah. I salute that narrow gate any time of the day, because it all come into a oneness of understanding. So when I get to Ecclesiastes chapter 4, and I get to verse 2, wherefore I praise the dead. Oh, that's something else that bothered me and had me kind of emotional too. Is when Solomon said this. Solomon said, this is in Ecclesiastes chapter 4, and we went to verse 1 and then verse 2. And then he said in verse 2, wherefore, listen to this, y'all. Listen to this. Wherefore I praise the dead which are already dead, Deborah, more than the living which are yet alive. You know what Solomon just said? He praised those that are already dead and gone. Because the ones that's living and coming, that's where it's going to be cutting up from the floor. That's where you bump right back to verse 1. I return and consider all the oppressions that are done under the sun. He ain't talking about just the United States. He said under the sun. That means the whole world. And then he says, and behold, Deborah, the tears of such as were oppressed, which is Israel, but basically Judah. Solomon is telling you, Judah, the level of you being oppressed, he beheld. He felt that thing. And a lot of y'all are very sick people, because lately I've been hearing people saying that when people don't have the spirit, they can't feel the situation. And I'm like saying, that's why I've been teaching my people for the last couple of years, feeling that thing. But you can't get people to comprehend. This thing comes also in a way where you can feel it. If greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world, then if he's in you and he's revealing and giving you revelation, you better feel that thing. And if you don't, you better go to another altar, and you better make sure you go to the right one and fall on your face and seek the Ruach HaKodesh. Because honestly, I can't even see how people can just go on living their little old life, not being able to feel nothing that's taking place. They are so numb to it all. The way they think, the way they act, the way they function, the way they comprehend, the way they move, y'all, that swag, the way they deal. It's like, so what? This world is horrible. Hey, it's good for me. That's the way I see it as a servant of the Most High God. But here goes Solomon sitting here telling us, just like David was telling us, like Isaiah was telling us about these tears that we are to have floating. And do we have them? Yeah. We might not say it or put it out there, but the heavens knows that we have many tears, because he said he's going to wipe them away. All of them. So therefore, even if we sit and act a monkey down here and don't know what the rats behind that mean, guess what? Heaven's got it locked in already. And he called them tears in your eyes. I shall wipe away. Solomon sitting here telling you, David telling you, Isaiah telling you. Now here go Solomon saying, behold, the tears of such as were oppressed. That's who Yah saying he's going to wipe away tears. The ones that's been oppressed. And they had no comfort. So you see, Solomon was telling you what was taking place under the sun. Even if he's dead and gone and been gone, he's still telling you nothing new under the sun, meaning, Deborah, it's going to repeat itself over and over and over all the way to the end. And now this is what he's saying. But those who are oppressed, they got tears. They got some tears that cannot be comforted. And he said, and on the side of their oppressors, there was power. Who gave them that power? See, they think it's their power because they white, they right. That's how they see it. That's how they interpret it. That's how they feel it. But see, they don't understand you were given that power. And they don't understand that. The reason why they don't understand it is because they never searched their true history and realized how the devil and demons came out of their bloodline. So they don't want to go back to search that bloodline because they'll find out what you call their truth will be activated. And they don't want that truth activated because it'll show them really who they are. And they don't want that. So it says, but the tribulation is going to show them who they are. Okay? But they had no comfort, letting you know no matter what, the power that the oppressors had on Judah and Israel, they didn't have no comfort. So this, if you wonder why the kingdom in Revelation, and it's just not in Revelation, the 2 I gave you, it's in 4 verses in different chapters of Revelation, letting you know how he's going to clean up your tears, baby. He's going to wipe them all away. So he knows, the kingdom already know that it was the way that he is allowing them to oppress you with the power he has given them and the authority to, it was to cause you to be discomfort. It was to cause you to shed tears and to weep. But guess what? That's why you don't know the end. See, people thought that they can take this word, the beginning and the end, the Alpha and Omega, sit y'all tails down, because the end is no play. The end is where he throw down. And they run around here, everybody talking about, and the end, you better sit your tail down, because baby, the end is coming for you. While you sitting here trying to think you said something. I hear so many people trying to make it like it's because that's something they learn. Oh, he's the beginning and the end. You better shut your mouth, because if you don't know what the end is, you shouldn't be quoting the end. Because the end is his power. It's where he's going to disperse it. Okay? So then the verse 2 said, wherefore I praise. Now, this is what really made me really sad. Solemn. I'm thinking, Solemn, you way back then, and how you saying that? But it makes so much spiritual sense. He said, wherefore I, Deborah, I praised the dead. I praise the dead, which are already dead, Deborah, more than the living, which are yet alive. So you see what he's saying? He knew all this mess was coming. And he looking at the idea, I praise them to go. They got out of here. They didn't have to experience the weeping and the tears and the discomfort of the oppressors to Israel and Judah. This is why Yah is so detached to delivering Judah. And this is sad that Judah don't even know who he is. And like I said to y'all earlier, which it won't affect none of you, but it don't matter. It's over. Darkness ain't finna take over no light. It's over for darkness. Or darkness is finna continue its darkness, and light finna cut up in it with his. If you ain't of the light, you're gonna get caught up in your darkness. Okay. So Solomon was saying that he was saddened because he gave praise to the dead just for getting out, because what's to come, and that's what this oppressor this oppressed situation we're in. See, this is why I say it's really too hard for people to believe that anybody will be grafted in. But I believe that even the grafted in would come to the fullness of kind of understanding the truth of the whole matter. Because I just said something earlier, and I knew we went over all of y'all heads, but it's such a powerful thing to put in your the spiritual backpack. How can you believe Yeshua, the Son of Man, without having no feelings of trying to understand Judah? How are you going to skip Judah and go to the Son of Man when Judah, the Son of Man, came out of Judah? See that? So how are you going to bypass Judah for the man that died for your sin, and only look, unless you want to look at him only for what you can use him for, and not really know the history of him and how you come through him into Christ, into the Father? They don't want that. They don't care about that. See, that's why I said, if you really think the Hebrew Israel, not the Hebrew Israel, Judah has taught this thing all wrong. And that's why they are able to manipulate a lot of these men in the cult and in the groups that they have. They taught them all kind of wrongness. So really, the whole Judah is disturbed. You see? Because even the ones that think they know who they are still have no idea of what even I'm teaching. Because they went into a situation to try to make themselves so special instead of trying to make Yah all that and some. They took on their own little groups and set them aside and said, we special, we the real ones, we the this and we the that. The same foolishness their forefathers caused him to be over in the situation they in. That same foolishness they still repeat. So when I get to Psalms 80 and verse 4 through 6. When I get to Psalms chapter 80, verse 4 through 6. O Yah of hosts. Now, you see that? The Yah of hosts mean the whole heaven. Hey, you got to see him as the whole, okay? How long will thou be angry against the prayers of thy people? See, Yah is not answering Judah. See, y'all don't understand that, and I try to teach that to y'all. I keep trying to tell people, and this is why people keep flipping into the same situation and constantly going in a circle and constantly trying to make their life pleasant and good and right. They ain't going up but in a dark circle. Here he's saying in Psalms, David is saying to Yah of hosts. That's deep. That's telling you the kingdom, the one is in the kingdom, the own it all. How long will thou be angry against the prayers of the people? Because he ain't answering it. What do Sister Deborah say that would lead you to believe that she said he ain't answering? Anybody know? What do I always say? He ain't busting a move. That's what that means. He ain't busting no move. That means he don't hear you. He don't hear you. He ain't finna bust a move. For what? I always tell y'all that. He ain't gonna bust a move. And this is exactly what David is saying. Then David said, thou feeded them with bread of tears. Praise. Now, right there, what David was saying, that's my brother. Him and Solomon, all them, they my brothers. Because they shooting out stuff to the servant of the Most High Yah. And she's bringing it forth. And the people she's bringing it forth, they can't even comprehend it. I'm going to go over that I'm going to go over it twice. Thou feeded them with the bread of tears. Once. Thy feeded, we in Psalms chapter 80, verse 4 through 5. Thy feeded them with the bread of tears. What do that mean? Anybody. Thou feeded them with the bread of tears. truth? Nope. Nope. With the bread of tears. Remember? Comfort? Nope. Nope. No comfort. Go back. Ecclesiastes. Let's go back. One said comfort. This is why I was telling you this is a message that's probably this would be, hey, they don't know it though, Father. So how? In Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and verse 2, when someone said comfort, watch this. Watch this. Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and verse 2. So I returned and considered all the oppression that are done under the sun. That means from the beginning to the end. And behold, the tears of such as were oppressed, and they had no comfort. Do you hear that? Do you hear that? They had no comfort. And on the side of their oppressors, hear this good, hear this good, there was power. Watch this. But they had no comfort. Solomon is telling Sister Deborah that they have no comfort. Their tears are running, but they have no comfort. So then we pull up, here go David. David turned around, I think it's in the verse, let me see which verse is that. 4 through 6. He said, thou feeded them with the bread of their tears. The judgment. Yes. You see that? The judgment. Exactly. Perfect. Perfect. Do you see the difference in your comfort and the judgment? That is exactly. You see that? You see? Do you see that? That is exactly it. The judgment. Because look what he said. Thou feeded. He said to Yah, you feed them with the bread of their tears. The judgment. And giveth them tears to drink in great measure. Thou makest us a strife unto our neighbors, and our enemies laugh among themselves. Woo! David cutting up. David cutting up. He's telling the truth though. Now, the way he's saying this is the way I see it, y'all. So when y'all hear me telling y'all, if y'all say, well, what is it I see it? This is the sort of stuff I'll be telling you. Exactly what David is saying. You get it? Exactly what David is saying. Okay? Now, I want y'all to pay attention to this. Here David said this here. He says, O Yah, Psalms 80, verse 4 through 6. O Yah of hosts. He's calling the whole heaven. How long will I be angry against the prayers of thy people? You're angry against their prayers. Watch this. Thou feedest them with the bread of tears, and giveth them tears to drink in great measure. Thou makest us to strive until our thou makest us a strife until our neighbors, making us a strife until our neighbors, and our enemies. So it's not just our enemies, but our neighbors laugh among themselves. Our enemy and our neighbors, they laugh among themselves. Now you tell me, you notice how the tears, that's why he has to wipe them away. You see that? It's at the end, I'm going to break it down. What is the tears? That's what we're going to sum this thing up with. What is these tears? So then it says here in Isaiah, but if y'all highlight Psalms 80 and verse 4 through 6, because it really gives you a whole overall of where and why when Sister Deborah said he don't bust a move, he ain't busting a move, that answered it all right there. And see, while y'all send y'all tails around thinking this is a candy walk, thinking it's playtime, this is what I'm seeing. And when I say to y'all, if he asks me what is thy seed, the same thing David is saying is how I see it. So I'm not lying. David not lying. Solomon not lying. We are not lying. We're constantly telling y'all what it is. But it ain't meant for you to know. Because I'm like saying, so when are we gonna weep all the way to the kingdom? We're gonna have this hard time up into the kingdom. That's why I believe in Mount Zion is a part of it. I believe it's a mountain that's part of Eden that he's going to restore, but he's bringing a new Jerusalem on top of it. You get what I'm saying? So those that are there, it's not going to taste death. They're going to just be changed over when the new Jerusalem comes and land right there. You see? And at that moment is where he's going to wipe away the tears. Because I know in Mount Zion, he said, we're going to remember our iniquity. Oh, yeah. As if there's got to be some feeling toward wrongdoing. Because honestly, I'm going to be honest with y'all. He's going to clean us up real good. But yet he's going to leave that there so we can feel our iniquity and our sin. I don't know if it's the sin, but the iniquity or the things that we had wrong and did. So that's the way I like him. I like how that rolled, because I think that for us to just get away with every wrongdoing we're doing, because even as a people, we are doing a lot of wrong. We're doing a lot of wrong to one another. We're doing a lot of wrong to the Most High Yah. None of his servants did him like that. None of the time periods have been as worse as this day and how we conduct ourselves. And we think we entitled. We're entitled to Mount Zion. We're entitled to the kingdom. Baby, you ain't seen nothing yet until he take y'all tails to the wilderness and separate y'all tails, just as he did with those come from out of Pharaoh. See, they think he playing. And the sad part is about it is just that 6 to 8%. What happened to that 92? How did they get that far away? It's still the will of the Father. Because I can't get them in to the fold. I can barely get 2. I can't even get 2. Because they still battling with where they stand in Yah. You know, it's so much still there of the world that's covering people. So they don't know if they want to go in or stay out. They don't know really which way they really want to go. But till they understand that it's not about Sister Deborah. It's about holding a relationship with him and him in you and you in him. And let him work from you, work with you from within. That's what it's really about. Okay? So in Isaiah chapter 3, Isaiah chapter 38, verse 4 and 5. Isaiah chapter 38, verse 4 and 5. And it reads, Then came the word of Yah to Isaiah, saying, Go and say to Hezekiah, Thus said Yah, Yah of David, thy father, I have heard thy prayer. I have seen thy tears. Now, I see where you're going with this, Father. I see exactly where you're going. That's beautiful. That landed out really good. Right there in Isaiah chapter 38, he's dealing with Isaiah going to talk with Hezekiah. Why? Because he told Hezekiah to get your house in order. You finna get up out of here. He didn't have to tell Hezekiah, because I think that's a blessing for Yah to come and let you know your time is up. You out. So here he tells Isaiah, I need you to go back, because I think Hezekiah went to pray and asked the Father give him more time. And this is the example I just said and told y'all. And y'all, I'm telling you, people are so lost because the power in what I just said was so powerful. Many of you all probably would even remember to put this in your spiritual backpack. And the power of what I said is, during Pharaoh time, somewhere along the line, Israel was whooping and hollering, crying out to the Most High Yah. He said, I heard their cry. Nothing had him to come down off that throne until he what? Heard their cry. Look at Hezekiah. He tells Isaiah to go and I tell Hezekiah the Yah of David, thy father, I have heard. Heard. What do you mean? The kingdom, y'all. The kingdom have heard thy prayer. I have seen thy tears. Behold, I will add unto thy days 15 years. The Father will say unto me, for what is it I see it, Deborah? I see a nation of people who will never cry out unto thee. That's what I'm saying. Because where we are at, I don't think that the measurement of us having the sense to cry out to the Creator as we are praying, or we are oppressed, or we are in this captivity realm. Because if you got 6 to 8% that knows that it is Judah, and the other 90, give or take 92% have no idea, could care less, and give a rat's behind. So it goes right back to what he said. It goes right back to the throne. They never cried out. They never knew why they were in the land and why they was under the oppressed. So all that time, their forefathers have did everything against the Father. We didn't do it any better, even when we were under the oppressed state because of our forefathers. We didn't repent for their sin. We didn't seek Yah for all this stuff that they said, lynching and murdering and killing and unfair and unjust. We never seeked the kingdom. Look at Hezekiah. Yah told him to get his house in order, that he was going to die. Hezekiah went into what? Prayer. And with his prayer came what? Tears, weeping. And Yah said, wait a minute, Deborah, tell them that Hezekiah's prayer came to the kingdom. Hezekiah's tears reached to heaven. Where is Judah's tears? Where is Israel's tears? They have none. So what that lead me to believe is the Father knew that they never will cry out. It ain't something that he didn't know. It's what he knew. Guess how he knew? When we tell you how, he turned around and gave a warning that it's going to be worse than any time ever has been since the earth exists. So that means Judah and Israel is going to be worse than any of Israel and Judah since the beginning. That means the world, other nation, is going to be worse than they ever been since the world began. You see, that includes Judah as well and Israel. That's what he's talking about. So when you're thinking you're running around here trying to instill things in people, it's going to everything comes when you're serving Yah. There's a price you have to pay, even though the price has been paid. But the price of being on this earth in the flesh, dealing in the flesh while he dealing in you in the spirit, there's a price, and it's called long suffering, endurance, resting in his patience. And it ain't easy, because this message here alone, it's got me shook up and shook out. It's got me in the saddened state of mind. Because it's actually the way he said it. I sat and listened to Solomon. I heard David. I heard Isaiah. And they all said the same thing. Then I run over here to Revelation, and the Father said, I deal with that in the kingdom, Deborah. I deal with that in the kingdom. You see that? He's going to deal with that in the kingdom. When he take them from Mount Zion, from the land of their captives and bring them to Mount Zion. Okay? That's a place before the New Jerusalem come down. When the New Jerusalem come down, those are the people who will not taste death until the New Jerusalem come down. Everything will be changed. That this fleshly body will be taken away, and we would have a spiritual body. When that New Jerusalem come down, everything's going to be changed. But what he said to me in Revelation is very powerful. He's explaining how he's going to take away all the tears, wipe away the tears, wipe away the weeping, and only then. So what did that tell me today? There's much weeping. There's much tears to be shed. And just imagine people out here on this earth playing games. Now the game is going to play them. Now, y'all didn't pay any attention when I was speaking that, but you missed that part. Because the tears and wiping the eyes, Isaiah told you about that. Okay? David told you. But they're telling you what Revelation is saying. That's the time when the tears is going to be, the eyes going to be wiped. The tears, the weeping. No more pain, no more suffering. And then, the key with me, like I tell y'all over and over, I ask all the deepest question in the deep. Guess what I asked the Father? So you going to wipe away tears. They going to have tears in the spirit, Father? That was my question. Tears in the spirit. Yes. You remember in hell, they're going to be weeping and wailing, crying and gushing of teeth. The spirit, like I told you, have that which you have in the flesh. The spirit has that in the spirit. Because I've told you all how many times my spirit cries. Your spirit cries out. That's what it was what was that happen? When you heard Yeshua on the cross saying, Abba, Abba. That's what that was about. He was crying out. You see? And we running around here thinking we got it made to the, y'all, it's just so much just sad that we still so far from. We have ran everywhere left from what is right. I, Sister Deborah, will also say to you, find your way to the left. Not to the left, to the right. Find your way as close to the right as you possibly can. Just find your way that way. And when I say find your way, don't try to get there without seeking ye the kingdom first and foremost. Because he's the only one that can show you the narrow gate. So I, Sister Deborah, appreciate each and every last one of you all tuning in. And this was a powerful message. I hate that the power went out, but they're preparing to shut y'all system down. You hear me? And if we still, it's no help to even warn people. And I noticed that because my ex-husband called and we talked for a long time today. And we were talking about everything about the Most High Yah and how he got things orchestrated. People, you can't even warn people in this day and time. You can't even tell your loved ones anything that they're going to really grip and take serious and really see the power behind it. And it's a sad thing because that's a part of the weeping and tear shedding because you're suffering knowing truth in a world that knows the lie. And all you can do is constantly speak on the truth, but it's like you against 10 billion. That's how bad it is, y'all. Really, y'all probably think Sister Deborah is exaggerating, but that's how bad it is. Okay? It's for real, for real. That's how bad it is. Now the number might be over the hill, but it's really that bad. So I, Sister Deborah, say I appreciate each and every last one of you all in the live. And I will be back with a message. What today is? Oh, Monday. Tomorrow, no, not today and Monday. Today is Sunday. And you all have a wonderful evening and have a good week next week. And I, Sister Deborah, say I will be back. So shalom and shalom.